Guys, I found him! I found— Hey! So, didn't expect to see me so soon, huh? Neither did I, to be honest. When I first uploaded my video on FASH, I thought that it would go about the same as the GH's video had, with nothing much coming out of it. At least from what I was able to find. However, like a poorly tied knot, all it really took was one particular string being pulled for everything to come apart at the seams. Given what happened to my last video, having not only been demonetized, but age restricted— yes, age restrict the person talking about a scientific paper and not the actual danger on your platform— I am going to have to do something I've never done before this point, and dance around YouTube censor so the same thing doesn't happen to this video. If you want the uncensored and ad-free cut, you'll be able to find a version linked on my Patreon, along with a version of my last video which is not age-restricted. Since the last video has been age-restricted though, I'll give a quick recap of what's been going on. If you've already seen that video, just skip to the next chapter.
It looks like I'm best and you're the worst.
Here is how fire how your physical
After I made my GH's video, I received a few comments asking me to check out the channel by the name of FASH. At the time, the channel appeared to be another content farm that was copying and writing off the success of GH's by copying the topics it covered, the art style, and storytelling aspect of the channel. This would range from videos about Five Nights at Freddy's to Wednesday to Poppy Playtime, so on and so forth, but had nothing else alarming about it, so I didn't look into it further. A few weeks ago, a short popped up in my feed, where near the end of the short, the character stripped naked and an NSFW Patreon was promoted to see a fully nude version, as well as suggesting some family fun for all ages to enjoy, apparently. This was concerning because as far as I could remember, this was a channel targeting children. Didn't YouTube have a policy or something regarding misleading family content? Misleading family content. Content that targets young minors and families, but contains sexual themes, violence, obscenity or other mature themes not suitable for young audiences, medical procedures, self-harm, use of adult horror characters, other inappropriate themes intended to shock young audiences, family-friendly cartoons that target young minors and contain adult or age-inappropriate themes such as violence, sex, death, drugs, and more. We don't allow content labeled as suitable for kids in videos' titles, descriptions, tags, or in the audience selection if it contains age-inappropriate themes. Make sure your titles, descriptions, and tags match the audience you're targeting. In addition, ensure your audience selection accurately represents the audience your content is suitable for. You can also age-restrict your content on upload if it is intended for mature audiences. Hey, notice how, there's specifically a section in YouTube's policy where it states content that targets young minors and families with age-inappropriate themes within an educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic context may receive an exception. This is not a pass to target young minors and families with mature themes intended to shock young audiences. Notice how my video would have fallen under YouTube's policies, but they fucking age-restricted it anyways? But apparently to YouTube, this is completely fine, as none of these videos are age-restricted. FASH has received no punishment in the form of demonetization, and it is only a problem when people talk about it and explain to said young audience exposed to this material why it is bad. Great! Before anyone jumps to the artistic context excuse for FASH's content, anyone with 2 eyes and a brain, hell, even people with 1 eye and no brain, should be able to deduce that there is no artistic value in the content he's making outside of advertising his Patreon, which is, again, marketed towards his child audience. As if the rampant sexual themes weren't bad enough, though, FASH would go on to make sexualized art of characters like Amanda and aging them up to further sexualize them, or sometimes not even bothering to do that much before sexualizing them. This character is supposed to be like 10, by the way. They also create community posts that fish for likes and comments so that a character would remove a piece of clothing as a reward. All this while clearly building a channel targeting a child audience because those are easy clicks and views while promoting an NSFW Patreon to said audience. Some of the other linked socials, like his Twitter, also post NSFW content that is not marked as 18+, and only censored so more people will give him money to see the uncensored versions. Meanwhile, Daddy YouTube does nothing and continues to enable this kind of behavior by throwing thousands upon thousands of dollars at this channel, who sees no repercussions to this day. What the fuck? For those of you who skipped ahead and are wondering what could justify a follow-up video as long as this one, hi, welcome back. Pretty soon after I uploaded the first video on FASH, I got a peculiar comment that mentioned another Russian channel that had a similar mascot to FASH. I'm so confused. I know this creator from maybe 5 years ago or so. I used to watch him as a kid. I remember his little brown-haired character. He used to make videos similar to The Odd Ones Out, like story times with animation. I'm not sure. I think he might have been hacked because even the style is so not his or his character and name was stolen? Or he really is secretly a creep on another account. Channel in Russian on YouTube is called Reads as Fashion. It might allegedly be him since the character is almost identical to Fash. It might not be him, but similarities are weird. The other thing is that his name and character might be stolen. A channel's name whose English translation is fashion. Out of curiosity, I copied and pasted the channel into the YouTube search bar to see what I could get. And there certainly was a channel with a nearly identical avatar. Fashion's channel was made on November 8th, 2015, with over 1 million subscribers, and listed to be situated in Russia. They make storytime videos, which again, targets a younger audience. Now at this point you could just say this could be another channel that FASH copied and stole from, since they've demonstrated a tendency to do that, and also because this channel was still somewhat frequently uploading, with the difference in art quality between these two channels being quite obvious. Unfortunately for me, a lot of the information I was looking for was locked behind this language barrier, being that I don't speak or read Russian, so I couldn't actually tell what his videos were about. However, this was a little bit too strange for me not to dig deeper, so I looked over all their channel pages and stopped when I got to the community tab. Now that mop of hair looks very familiar. Where have I seen it before? It was shaved right off of Fash's head and flipped before being placed on this cat. Now that's enough for me to conclude that this is probably the same channel, but I don't think it'd be enough to convince everyone. So I kept digging. Linked on this channel was 2 other separate channels, and hey, would you look at that? Doesn't that style look oddly similar? Clicking on the first channel, Fashik, I was led to a channel that was at the very least owned by Fashion, as there were videos with his character in his exact style. This channel was created on November 4th, 2018, with over 350,000 subscribers, and had nothing linked except for Patreon. I wonder where this would lead if I clicked on it. Boom! Bullet-proof evidence that this channel, as well as Fashion's, were both run by the same motherfucker. Interestingly enough, the custom patron link was also named Fashik, another solid link back to Fash's ult. That wasn't the only thing though, because you see, this channel was doing the same fucking thing that Fash was doing on his current main channel, i.e. growing a child audience before exposing them to sexual images for clicks and money. Except with this channel, it jumped on the resurgence of Minecraft and focused on sexualizing characters from that game. And as we all know, Minecraft's audience is most definitely made up of little kids. So not only is this a pattern of behavior on his main channel, but it's a pattern of behavior that stretches back to his other channel as well. With this in mind, I clicked on the second channel, FASH. This channel was made on April 25th, 2020, with over 200,000 subscribers, and clearly jumped on the rise of Among Us with a channel consisting of mostly Among Us and Minecraft videos. This channel had 2 links, a link to the same Patreon Fash promotes, as well as a VK page, which we're gonna get back to later. And of course, when I clicked on the community tab of this channel, oh, what do you know, more softcore porn! This time, the focus was on Naruto characters, which at some point had videos accompanying the posts. Great! So that's channel 3 of 4 that not only targets kids, but promotes to them as well. Fantastic! Actually, you know what? Make that 4 of 4, because this channel links to both the other channels that do this garbage, so it is not exempt from this horrendous behavior either. At this point of my research, I had run out of links that were directly available, but I just had this itch that there was something more going on than met the eye, so I kept digging. I started with the VK links that were posted on the Fashion channel. This being VK though, I was unable to view any of the posts in full, and some profiles were locked behind a sign-up that was not available to those living in Canada or the United States. Despite this, I was able to find a few more pieces of evidence linking this to Fash's main channel. One of his VK profiles followed the VK linked to Fash's channel, along with a post that was advertising a Telegram group to help other creators grow their channels that use the same image Fash uses on his Patreon. The second VK was clearly meant for the Fashion channel, that also reposted some posts from the Fash VK, and then 2 more VKs that I had no idea what to make of. Luckily, I had a friend who was friends with someone who did live in Russia. She was able to get me into contact with her friend who helped massively with linking parts of this puzzle together. Their name is Suo, and I will be leaving their Tumblr in the description. Please go check them out and leave them some nice messages. Suo explained that this VK was a promotional VK, and Fash had some involvement being one of the people they were promoting. The last private VK was someone Suo referred to as the manager of the channel. This previous VK, by the name of Ilya, appeared to be the personal VK of the creator, who listed that they lived in Moscow, Russia. Something else that Suo pointed out that was interesting was that the locked VK, as well as the Ilya VK, had the same birthday, as well as claiming to be married, though Suo was skeptical of this claim, as it's apparently quite common to lie about being married in Russia. Suo believes these two VKs to be separate people, as it's not too strange to see two people who have the same birthday, but I'm a little more inclined to believe that these are the same person, given that the VK listed as the manager was the VK linked on the FASH channel, as well as another piece of evidence that we'll get to later. Suo also revealed that while they were searching for freelance work, they also came across FASH's post to work for him. They believe that all the artists working on this channel are other freelance artists that work for FASH in the long term, knowing they won't be credited, which means FASH himself draws none of the art that is posted, and there are other people contributing to the awful things FASH is doing on his channel. I believe that the anonymity provided also gives them more confidence to draw things like the Amanda shorts, but Suo gives them the benefit of the doubt, saying that this is probably a steady line of work for them, where they may struggle to find work elsewhere. One thing we did both agree on is that FASH's channel should not be allowed to continue as things are right now. Once again, I'd like to thank Suo for helping with this video by looking through the VKs as well as translating the information that Google Translate would have probably otherwise gotten wrong. Please go give them a follow if you can, and surely this was all there was, and there were no other channels that we didn't know about. While I was explaining to my friend the insanity that I was going through while I was researching this guy, she decided to help me snoop around, and while she was snooping around the FASH channel, she found something that made me want to rip my head off and throw it out a window. Under the video titled Strider Satisfy Steve, Minecraft Anime Episode 15, she had found another channel with a very suspiciously and now familiar icon of an avatar we both loathed. Upon clicking it, led to another channel of FASH's. This one, named FASH Animation, was made on October 2nd of 2017 with over 100,000 subscribers, and this channel was much more brazen with the actual content. In addition to linking not only to the FASH channel, along with FASH's NSFW Patreon, this channel does the same garbage cropped porn thumbnail thing alongside the already softcore porn advertised on their community page. This channel dipped not only to Minecraft, but Friday Night Funkin' and Squid Game as well, further proving his tendency to jump ship on trending topics for easy clicks and attention. All of this, by the way, is strictly against YouTube's thumbnail policy, and yet the channel has no videos that have been age restricted, nor has it seemingly suffered any other punishment, despite how blatantly and obviously it's breaking community guidelines. Don't post a thumbnail or other image on YouTube if it shows pornographic imagery, sexual acts and use of sex toys, or other sexually gratifying imagery, nudity, including genitals, imagery that depicts unwanted sexualization, violent imagery that intends to shock or disgust, graphic or disturbing imagery with blood or gore, vulgar or lewd language, a thumbnail that misleads viewers to think that they're about to view something that's not in the video. But surely that was the last one? Surely there can be no more other channels run by— No, of course there's another one, because why would I be allowed to keep what's left of my sanity? This channel, FASH Short, created on May 11th, 2022, with about 50,000 subscribers, is the only channel that has so far been free of the softcore on their community tab. This channel is focused on posting whips and fish comparisons from videos of their main channel. And of course, it links back to their NSFW Patreon, giving us an easy confirmation, besides the whips, that this channel is also run by FASH. But this has to be the last of it, because no one would have another channel's worth of videos that have been posted and then deleted for the sake of jumping onto a new trend with a clean state. Of course there's something like that. We're too deep in hell to back out now, so why don't we talk about where FASH really got his start? While I was researching for the first video, I had attempted to put an email I saw listed, fashionsci424@gmail.com, to see if I could find any accounts linked to it. This turned up nothing, but it did get me curious since his fashion channel still went by the URL fashionsci, as did his Instagram. I decided to search up this name on YouTube, but it returned nothing but a bunch of old YouTube intros with the name, as well as a few pieces of fan art that did look an awful lot like the avatar FASH uses. But I wanted more bulletproof evidence that this was the same guy. So I asked Suo if they could take a look at a video that I found on their fashion channel discussing Minecraft. Suo got back to me, saying that the comments of the video were asking when FASH would return to making Minecraft content, and he replied saying he was never going back to that kind of content again. Now that is what we call a smoking gun. His social blade also shows that he's deleted a substantial amount of videos from his fashion channel, most likely the lost Minecraft videos you can no longer find. If you tally up all of his channels, and if you count the fashion side channel as a separate one from the fashion channel that currently exists, this piece of shit has made 7 different YouTube channels, all of which in some way, shape, or fashion, no, I will not apologize for the pun, endanger children with their complete, irresponsible promotion of sexual imagery. There's a few more miscellaneous things that I found I'd like to mention before we move on to the conclusion of this video though. One being his Telegram. As far as Google Translate has been able to tell me, this is just a normal Telegram, outside of the one strange post about another private club that costs money to get into, where you can network with other creators who are also highly successful. Not to be that guy, but this sounds more like a pyramid scheme than it does anything else. Given how money hungry this guy is too, I wouldn't put it past him. There are other posts which mention his FASH channel, along with a picture of his play buttons, that all but confirm that these two VKs are run by the same person, given that his FASH channel only links the manager VK. This guy also has a Twitch, twitch.tv/fashsci, where he streams himself playing video games. And last but not least, we finally have a face to put on the creep. This photo was taken in 2023, so I'd say it's fairly accurate to what the guy looks like now. And with that, let's finally move on to the conclusion. FASH is a truly greedy, scummy, and lazy person who's been doing YouTube purely for the money he gets out of it. Since the start of his first channel, Fashion Sci, in 2015, he has been trend jumping ranging from Minecraft to storytime animations to Among Us, purposefully targeting a younger audience who he knows will click on anything he posts once he builds that audience, before trying to squeeze every last penny from said audience by launching an NSFW Patreon and exposing his audience to sexual materials that not only drive up engagement, but fuel more eyes into paying him to see the uncensored versions. FASH doesn't even do any of the work he's posting to his channel now, having hired scriptwriters and artists to do everything for him, while pretending it's all his work by intentionally not crediting anyone in the description. He gets his popularity by writing off of popular topics or straight up copying other creators, and has no doubt made quite a lot of money doing so. And if at any point the money starts drying up, he cuts off 3 letters from his name and starts a new channel to jump on another trending topic to make more money. It has been nearly half a decade of child endangerment, and so far FASH shows no signs or interest in stopping, and neither does YouTube apparently, as YouTube has not age restricted any of his videos, but continues to fully monetize and pay FASH to endanger children. That's f***ed up. At this point, I'm kind of at a loss of what to do. As a comment has put it, this is essentially Gate 2.0, and yet nothing is being done. Instead, they're more focused on striking down creators who make mention of this happening, as if creators don't eat enough shit already between trying to please the algorithm and praying not to get smacked with the funny yellow dollar sign. But creators like FASH get to walk scot-free. What a fucked up system we're living in right now. This video is all I feel like I can really do. Collect all the evidence I can and show that this has been a prominent and persistent pattern of behavior that FASH demonstrates, so that maybe someone with a bigger voice can finally get something done with this. Hopefully someone who's more easily able to traverse the language barrier than I'm able to, and find more evidence I've definitely missed because of said language barrier. Until then, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one, whenever that may be. Special thanks to Remus B and Very Deep Blender for being patrons to this channel. You guys are super cool. Bye!